Hey there, this is John Henny. I've been teaching voice for over 30 years, and I've taught everyone from Grammy-winning superstars to absolute beginners. And I'm going to tell you a lie that destroys more singers than lack of talent ever could. That lie is, I'm too old to learn to sing, or my voice is gone. The world's going to tell you that singing is a young person's game, but today I'm going to use voice science to prove that that's nonsense. In fact, I'm going to show you why your voice with the right acoustics might actually have some of its most expressive years ahead of it. Let's look at the reality, but first, we need to validate what you're feeling because it's real. When we hit 50 or 60 or beyond, we start to notice a loss of power, maybe a change in tone. The range begins to shrink, and so we assume our voice is broken. But science tells us this is usually just muscular atrophy. It's not permanent damage. Look, just like your legs get weak if you stop walking, your vocal folds lose tone and flexibility if you stop singing correctly. And here's the trap. When you feel that muscular weakness, your body's natural response is to squeeze. You're going to try and muscle through the weakness so that the voice feels heavier and heavier. And it feels like your range is gone and singing becomes nothing but a struggle. So what do? You stop singing, which increases the atrophy and makes the squeeze worse. But here's the good news. Muscle responds to conditioning at any age, and your voice is just waiting for a workout. Your vocal folds need time and attention, not to be put away in the closet. Now, there is a reality check. Researchers have identified the general age where your behaviors really start to count against you. And that age is about 35. So before 35, you can get away with some bad technique. You can yell and push and your youthful voice will bounce back. But after 50, well, that has passed. You cannot use brute force in your singing anymore. Why does brute force stop working? Well, let's look at the mechanics. When your voice was young, it was incredibly flexible. The ligaments, the cartilage, the muscle, you had strength. And so all of this could force the pitch, even if your acoustics and technique were wrong. It's like a car that's stuck in first gear. So if the engine is new, you can redline it and the car's still going to work. But as it ages, well, now you start to get accumulated damage. And most older singers feel the voice break or get raspy, and they think the engine is broken. It's not. You just never learned how to properly shift gears. In voice science, shifting gears is called vowel tuning. And vowel tuning is one of the most important keys to good singing. Your vocal tract, the space in your throat and mouth, it acts like a filter for the sound waves, and it will amplify certain frequencies or parts of the sound wave. Now, here's where it gets interesting. If we shape this vocal tract correctly, the sound wave basically gets a free ride. It gets amplified by physics, by the acoustics, not by your throat muscles. But if you shape a vowel wrong, if your vocal tract is not tuned properly, the sound wave is going to hit a wall. It loses energy. And now your vocal cords have to work harder because acoustics aren't helping you. So the squeeze that you feel, it's not age. It's an acoustic issue. So the secret to singing in your 60s, 70s, and beyond isn't about doing push-ups with your throat, using brute strength. It is about shaping the vowel so the sound creates its own energy. And when you get this right, singing doesn't feel like lifting a heavy weight. It feels like surfing a wave. But this requires a shift in your mindset and your approach. As an older singer, you have secret weapons that younger singers don't have. You have maturity. You have patience. You have cognitive discipline. You can learn to do this. So while some young singers rely on their youth, their strength, and natural elasticity, you can rely more on acoustics. As an adult learner, you have the patience to understand how the voice actually works. This is smart singing over hard singing. I've seen students in their 70s, even students coming back from debilitating illnesses who have rebuilt their voices to be in some ways better than when it was in their 20s. Why? Because they stopped pushing. They started tuning the voice. They started using it properly. So I want you to experience this just a little bit right now. First, I want you to pick a note that is usually difficult or heavy for you. And I want you to go ahead and sing it. And notice if there's squeeze. Notice the effort. So for me, if I sing this with effort, ha, ha, I can barely get it. So we're going to take the weight off. I want you to go ahead and grab a drinking straw. If you don't have one, you can just pretend you've got a narrow straw in your lips and you're going to let your cheeks puff out a little bit. And we're going to slide up to that same note through the straw. I'm going to use this from Voice Straw. It's a cup I can sing into with a straw attached. So my note. How did that feel? Was it different? What I felt is I could keep the buzz of my voice, the intensity, but that grabbing at the throat is gone. This is what happens when we use back pressure and acoustics to help us sing rather than muscle. This proves your instrument is fine. We just need to update the software. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. As your voice comes back, it's likely not going to be the exact same voice you had in your 20s. And that's okay, because the voice you have now is capable of deep expression and musical connection that your 20-year-old self didn't have the life experience to deliver. Singing is still there for you. Don't listen to the lie. Now, that straw exercise was just one small adjustment. If you want to really rebuild your voice, you can't rely on random tips. You need a system that respects and understands the mature voice. So I have a free download available for you, the Mature Singer's Guidebook. This book goes deep into the science of the aging voice, and it walks you through my methods to rejuvenate your sound successfully and safely. So check out the link below. Let's get your voice back in shape. I'm John Henny. Thank you for watching, and we'll talk soon.